Hi guys, welcome back to another IMO tutorial. If you watched the previous tutorial, you'll have seen a brief overview of what we hope to achieve. So I'm going to start off the project, and this first tutorial is all code from now on. That first one was just an intro. So in this tutorial, we have three main objectives. Get our file structure, get some data into the app, and then get the data onto the screen. Very ambitious, so we're going to try and get a lot done in 30 minutes, so it's going to be quite fast, so hopefully you'll be able to keep up and, learn on the way. So this very first one is just going to be getting things started. So I'm going to start by making the application. So single view application. I'm called AppStore. Next, and then create. Very first thing, to clean up. Select your view controller and delete it. Just move to trash. Select your storyboard, first scene, and delete it. I just like having a clean start, okay? It's just, I like to have as much control over the application as possible, so sometimes that means starting from complete scratch. So next thing is a file structure, very important. So right click on your project file, show in Finder, go into the actual name. So once you're in the app data, get project file, all that, you're golden. Right click, new folder, libraries. Make a new one called cells, a new one called view controllers, another one called data model, and one more called API. So while we're here, in the description there'll be a link I'm going to post for AF networking. So AF networking is the main library we're going to use for doing all our gets. If you're doing posts or puts later on, AF network is also amazing for that. Also for asynchronous image downloads. It takes all the effort out of using NSURL request and its operation and just makes our life much easier. So copy it directly into the library's file. Boom. Okay, now select the top folder there, top file even, folder, whatever, and add files to AppStore. So add them one by one, because unfortunately I don't think it let us do multiple, does it? Hold on. It does. Damn. Okay. And add. Happy days. So you should see that in libraries you've got AF networking. Hooray! So now let's go and start making our app. So we're going to start off with the top rated controller. So in the App Store app, you'll see there's a second and third screen that's top rated with a segment control at the top. We're going to make that. So select your view controllers, new file, Cocoa Touch class, and it's going to be a UI view controller. But here's the fun part, it's going to actually have a collection view in it. So if you're wondering why this is a view controller, not a collection view controller or a table view controller, because if you make them direct subclasses, it automatically puts in all these boilerplate methods, and I don't like that. I want to have complete control over every aspect of everything in my class. So I always make it as a UI view controller with a table view or a collection view. Just my preference. And I always put a prefix in front of every class. So App Store AS would be the most logical, but I don't like the way it looks, so it's going to be AP and then top rated collection view controller. Might be have a slight kind of why is it called just this way I prefer to do it, okay? Next, and make sure you're inside view controllers and create. So we're going to keep a really good file structure and a really good grouping structure. So anybody else who comes onto the project at any point in the future can just instantly find everything, and also very importantly, this should be perfect. No file should be added in here, just groupings. All our images are going to go in here, all of our objects and things are going to appear in here, nice and clean. Okay, let's set up our storyboard very briefly. So we've deleted everything, so the storyboard has no point of entry. Grab a view controller, drop it in, and while the view controller is selected, editor, embed in navigation controller. So the screen's quite small, so let's zoom out. Right click on white space, zoom to 50%. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to put the size down to 4.7 inch iPhone 6. I just like I like the way it looks. Very important, with your navigation controller selected, click on is initial view controller. Okay, without that, the app doesn't know which controller to load first. Okay, so now next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull in some information from the endpoint. You're thinking, okay, well, what's the endpoint? How do you know what it is? Apple have given us this lovely RSS feed. So what we're going to pull in to begin with is the top grossing apps, 25 of them, iOS apps for the UK. All genres, we don't care, we just want the top 25 grossing apps. The segment control is going to let us switch between the top 3 paid and grossing, but for now we're going to pull in the first grossing, just get some data on screen, and then we'll make it better and better and better. So copy the link and into your app, and just for now I'm going to just leave it commented here for reference. Okay, next thing we want to do is, now you'll see at the very end, as returning an XML feed, we can use an XML parser, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use the JSON version. If you're wondering, like, hold on, you can't just change the endpoint's data type. No, I can't, but I do know for a fact that this returns two RSS feeds, a JSON and XML, and I'd prefer to use the JSON one. Simple, really. Now, next thing, import AF networking. Oh yes. Now, we want to pull in this data. So, how do we do that? First of all, we have to initialize AF networking's manager. So AF HTTP request operation manager equals AF HTTP manager. So what this does for us is this automatically sets up all, if you command click through all the way, you'll see that in AF Networking Request Manager it sets up everything for us. This does all the kind of initialization for us. So this will take whatever we pass through and do all of its magic for us. Okay, we don't have to worry about any of this. So there's a post, there's put, there's patch, there's delete, all the things we don't have to do by hand, because AF Networking is a magnificent library. It is bloody amazing. Okay, what next? We have to do a get. So manager get. So you can do a get, you can do a put, you can do a post, you can do a delete, whatever you want. Just for now, we're doing a get. So what's our get URL? Ooh. Isn't that nice? Parameters, nil. If we're doing a put or a post, we'd usually include a dictionary, maybe authentication or a certain data type we're putting a post into. For now, get none. Now, I always just press tab to get to the next one of these, because you don't really have to worry about very much about it. When you tab across to these, I just press return or enter, because that'll automatically complete the types of the block. Delete the code because there's nothing in there. Down to the next line, tab is highlight, and also press return again. Delete that. Go down to the second last curly brace, press square brace, and finish it off. So that's now completed this method for us to an extent. So if you're wondering what the hell this means, okay, this means that once AF Networking has completed the get on this URL with these parameters, if there was any, it would either have a success or a failure. Well, it's going to succeed or fail basically, and depending on what happens. So if we had done a get to a private server that required authentication or something, or didn't even exist, the header will come back with a fail code. So 200 is a success. A fail is anything that's not 200 essentially. Not technically true, but it's in there somewhere. Like a 500 is a complete rejection. 422 is not found, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if it succeeds, it's going to come back with the operation. The operation will have all the header information. I don't care about this instance, and the response object. If it fails, it's going to tell us why it failed. Very handy. And we're going to stick in 2 breakpoints here, just to see what happens once we've done that. One last thing to do, because I forgot to do already. Go into your storyboard, select your view controller scene, open your class, and type in AP top rated with that. Once it's highlighted, press enter. Don't just click off, because it will not always remember. If you really want, you can actually, while you're here, make the storyboard ID the same as the class name. It'll be handy later on, but it's not very important because, well, you'll see later on. And build. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if you're wondering what has come back here, let's have a very quick look. So the operation returns all the header information that we do not need in this instance, just showing you for the sake of verification. And response object, oh, look at that, look at all that information, so much. So this is a gigantic dictionary with one top level object, which is called feed, and then one, two, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 items inside that. But we don't care about most of these. We only care about one particular one here, and that's entry, because entry contains the 25 items we want. So you can see that in entry there's all this information, and it's the very first one is Clash of Clans. Ooh, I play that. So now we want to actually pull these out, because they're no use to us in this massive dictionary. At the same time though, we need something to put these into. We want to pass these to something. So property non-atomic strong, not T, strong, ns mutable array items. Let's delete this comment, and if you did load self dot items equals ns mutable array alloc init. So we've now set this up to work however we want. So one last thing to tell you guys: if you've never used blocks before, blocks are kind of an entity onto themselves. Blocks get executed basically when something triggers them to happen. So because of this, you don't want to call self inside a block, because even with arc, the block will own the property and you can have memory leaks. Even with arc automatic memory control, it will still sometimes cause problems when self is called within a block. So to get around that, we need to have a weak pointer to the class. So underscore underscore weak, then the class name, ap top rated collection view controller, block self equals self. So it's a weak pointer to the class. Very easy. So now, as we saw, we have to drill down through this data object to entry. Very simple. So how do we do that? Pardon me. NS dictionary item dictionary equals response object value for key path feed dot entry. Now this is a nice way of writing it. What we could do aside from this is we could do NS dictionary item dictionary equals response object for key feed object for key entry. But that's kind of, if there's more than 2 levels, you're kind of going object for key, object for key, object for key. We don't want that. We want nice, clean, easy to read code. And that's what this does. Okay? So if we leave our breakpoint there and rebuild, there you go. Item dictionary now is 25 items. But still, this isn't good for us because this is still not properly formatted. They don't know what they are. They have no idea what each item is. So let's give it some perspective. So for NS dictionary item in item dictionary block self dot items add object item, and leave a breakpoint there again and rebuild. So if we go to our block self, there you go. Our array items has 25 dictionaries. Let's have a quick look inside one. There you go. Badu. You got the images in here. You got the name. You got the social term, what kind it is. Perfect. So we have data we can now use. So now we have data we can use. We need something to use it in. Most notably, a collection view. So let's do that. So, main storyboard, select your top rated controller. Let's make some room for ourselves so we can see what's going on here. Cool. So now that's selected. Type in collection view. Make sure you drag a collection view, not the controller, and just drag it into your. So maybe zoom in a bit so you can actually see. Why are you being a pain? Oh yeah, if you're zoomed out it doesn't work very well. Now, there you go. So set it to, for instance for now, 0, 0, and the full size of the view. Perfect. Now you'll be automatically given a collection view cell. Grab it and drag it the whole width of the view. 375. Come on. 370. It's been a pain, but oh well. And make the height 100. Okay, so now we need to actually use this cell. To use the cell, we can use the bog standard one, but we want to have a custom cell. So click on your cells, right click, new file. Class UI collection view cell, and we're going to call it app item collection view cell. Oh yes. Next, it should automatically be cells, and then create. Happy days. Now to begin with, we're going to make these public properties. Just for now, don't worry, it's not going to last very long. But this is quicker for now, for my own sake. Property, non-atomic, weak, always make items on a view weak. About it, UI label, name. 2, 3, 4. So we got name, you got a kind, we're going to have price, and then we're going to have an image view. So UI image view image. Nice and simple. So what next? What next indeed? Okay, back to your storyboard. Now we haven't actually made an instance of storyboard, an instance of collection view yet on the top right controller. So let's do that now. Press this happy fellow. There you go. And if you left click on your collection view, control and drag across to here and let go, it'll make you a reference. It's called collection view. Connect. There we go. Done. How easy was that? Also, what I want to do now is make the background white because it's clear at the moment. So collection view selected, into your properties, background white color, just so we can actually see what's going on. And while we're also selected here, we want to go to your connections, drag the data source and the delegate to the top rated controller. Okay. Now let's make our cell. So image view, drag it onto your cell, set the X to 20, Y to 10, width to 80 and height to 80. Simple. Label, we want 3 of these. So drop the label size down to about 12 and just align it with the top. There you go. That's not aligned. Now it is, I think. There we go. Drag it out, delete the placeholder text, copy and paste it 3 times and just align them nicely with the rest of the view. Okay, that's the middle, and there we go. Perfect. Now change the names here, okay, to be name or title, kind and price. This makes it a lot easier to read for somebody else to come along, otherwise they don't have a clue what's going on. Next thing, select your cell into the class and change it to be app item collection view cell. Always press return. Copy the name into here and set it to be your reuse identifier. Perfecto. Now let's connect our cell. So command drag from image view to the cell. No, sorry, wrong thing. Open your connections, drag referencing outlet to your cell, set the image, next for the name, kind, and then price. Okay, Sounds good. All set up, all ready to be used. So let's use it. Let's go into our top rated controller. So we know we have these items ready to use now. So let's do it. At the very top here, declare UI collection view delegate flow layout. We'll use later on, don't worry. UI collection view delegate, and then UI collection view data source. So straight away you'll get a warning saying you have not used these methods, okay? So let's use those methods now and make our cell. So I always use pragma marks. So pragma marks is a way of not divvying up your code so you can see what's going on. I'll show you in a second. So pragma mark UI collection view data source. Okay, and for that we need a UI collection view cell. Collection view, blah 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 blah. Perfect. So this is the same as the self-route index for tail view. And just for now, I'm just going to return UI collection cell view. This is stop the warning. This isn't going to do anything for us. This is to stop the warning annoying me. Next pragma mark. UI collection view delegate. So for this we need ns integer collection view number of items in section. Return cells dot items dot count. Perfect. So let's now make our cell. Import AP top AP app item collection view cell. Very good. So AP app item collection view cell equals collection view DQ reusable cell with a reuse identifier, and that's just going to be the name. I'm pretty sure we set that in the storyboard. I really hope so, otherwise it's going to be a crash. For index path, perfect. And return cell. Okay, now if we do this, we're going to have empty cells for two reasons. One, items is nil until this finishes. So once this finishes iteration, block self dot collection view reload data, and second of all, the cells have no data in them. So we want to use, each cell is going to have an item inside it. At the moment these items are just dictionaries. So let's quickly do that, and then in the next tutorial we'll turn these dictionaries into proper items. So to do this I need to use AF networking's category UI image view plus AF networking. So what this does is this is a category built on UI image view that allows us to asynchronously download images. If I try to download all 25 images at once using the main thread called the UI thread, it would lock the app up until it finished. What this will do is it will asynchronously download and show the images as they download. Nice and handy, very cool. So cell.name.text equals, getting ahead of myself, we need to, each cell is going to have a dictionary. So ns dictionary item equals self.items object at index path.row. But we can write that even better again. Nice shorthand. So ns dictionary item equals self.items index path.row. Shorthand for the win. So the text name is item value for key path. Now I'm going to have to have a look at this data again because I can never recall the actual proper format off the top of my head. So the name is going to be in here somewhere. Here we go. So like earlier, we have to drill down to this. So it's im name dot label. Perfect. So cell dot kind dot text equals, I think it's back at the top. Yes, so it's down 3. So it's same deal as this, except different text, obviously. Copy and paste, be very careful. It's very easy to make a mistake by copy and pasting. Hold on, index path, that's not right. Item. That's probably going too fast, you sometimes make mistakes. Too common sometimes, unfortunately. Attributes, and then doesn't matter, label or terms, your choice. Boom. And then price. Cell.price dot text equals item value for key path. I think I'll stay a bit lower. Yes. im.price dot attributes dot amount. Awesome. Now, image is the last one. So if you see here, this is an array of images of different sizes. We simply want the last one. So let's do this in 2 lines rather than 1. NSArray item images equals item value for key path im image. So this is now an array of dictionaries. We just want the one item. So we have the one item. I want the label from that item. So cell dot image dot set image. You want the second last one. This is the category method for AF networking. NS URL with string. I'm going to do this in 3 lines. So NS URL image URL equals item images last object for key label. Actually, it's making that a string because that's going to be a string, it's not a URL. So let's uncomment this line. Image URL string, and we have our cell.image set image with URL with string, image URL string, placeholder nil. Okay, that looks good to me, I hope. So let's build this and let's see if it works. So there's quite a lot to do without testing it bit by bit. I may have jumped the gun a bit by doing this way, but I have a lot to get done in a very short time, so let's hope this works. Build, run. Thank any God you believe in. There we go. Look at that. Asynchronously downloading all these images, each one correct, I think. Okay, so that was quite a lot to get done in less than 30 minutes. In fact, there's probably too much to get done in less than 30 minutes. And if you're a keen programmer, you'll quickly see there's a lot of not mistakes here. Just because it works doesn't mean it's right. For instance, this should not be done here. No. This should not be done here. No. A lot of things here are working but not correct. Very quick thing, this is not reusable. It's not correct because it's done in read load. This is not reusable because it's done in self row. This shouldn't care about this. This should not be decorated here. The controller doesn't care about these things. The controller is simply a vessel. It's simply used to show things. It's not supposed to do anything aside from display what you've given it. So next tutorial we will not make as much progress, but we're going to really refine these operations into a few very short and sweet operations. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed it. Please come back for the next tutorial because we're going to make a lot of progress through the next few tutorials. It's going to get a lot more complicated and it's going to be a lot more code. So I hope you enjoyed it and see you soon. Bye bye.